a Class-15 Deathworld Warship was discovered. But humanity had secured it first. The survey fleet drifted slowly through the thick clouds of the Perseus Veil Nebula. Stars looked faint and smeared behind layers of glowing gas. The ships of the Galactic Concorde moved with careful grace because their crews came from soft, gentle worlds. High Exarch Thrin stood on the bridge of the flagship Harmony Veil. His crystalline body shimmered under the soft blue lights of the command deck. Around him, Vexari officers floated in low-gravity bubbles, while Cleath technicians breathed methane through long tubes. Laron crew members spread wide leaves to catch the artificial sunlight. A sudden alert chimed across every screen. Sharp high notes filled the air. Thrin turned his many-faceted head toward the main display. The science officer, a young Vexari named Lirva, spoke in quick musical tones. "We have an anomaly, sir. Energy signature matches no known pattern. It comes from deep inside the nebula." Dead zone. Thrin felt a ripple of excitement pass through his crystal lattice. The Perseus Veil had stayed empty for thousands of years. No one came here because the radiation burned sensors and the gas clouds hid everything. The fleet had come only to map old trade routes left by extinct species. Now something waited in the dark. "Bring up full scan," Lirva ordered. The main hologram bloomed into life. A massive shape appeared, kilometer after kilometer of sharp angles and heavy armor. The ship looked like a predator carved from black stone. Its hull plates showed scars from impacts that would have shattered lesser vessels. Weapon ports lined every side like rows of hungry mouths. Thrusters the size of small cities sat silent along the rear. The size reading came first, 112 kilometers stem to stern. Gasps echoed around the bridge, even from species that did not breathe oxygen. Thrin stared without blinking. That cannot be right. No ship ever built reaches such lengths. Even the ancient ones. Then came the classification tag. A cold automated voice spoke. Class-15, Deathworld origin. Confirmed, threat level maximum. No living sapient species has ever survived Class-15 conditions. Silence fell over the bridge. Class-15 meant a world so deadly that evolution stopped before intelligence could appear. Acid seas, endless storms, gravity that crushed bones, air filled with poison, radiation that twisted flesh into new horrible shapes. The Concorde rated only 7 such planets in the entire known galaxy. All stayed empty. All stayed avoided. Yet here floated a warship born from one of those hells. Thrin felt his lattice vibrate with sudden hope. If they claimed even one piece of its technology, the Concorde would gain power for centuries. Weapons that survived Deathworld conditions, shields that laughed at stellar radiation, engines that pushed through poison storms. Lirva checked the readings again. Power output minimal but steady. Support active atmosphere, inside breathable, for oxygen-nitrogen mix. Gravity steady at 1.4 standard. Not automated, sir. Something lives aboard. Thrin considered the words. Something lives aboard. A relic from a dead species, perhaps. Or a trap left by raiders long ago. He pushed the fear aside. The Concorde had faced dangers before. They carried the best hazard suits ever made. They carried weapons tuned for every known biology. They would take no foolish risks. Prepare boarding teams, Thrin commanded. Use full containment protocols. Triple redundant seals. Bring science pods and heavy drones. We approach with caution. The fleet adjusted course. Small escort ships formed a protective ring around the Harmony Veil. Auxiliary vessels detached and moved forward. The lead shuttle Glory's Reach carried 30 beings, 12 Vexari in crystal armor, 8 Clythe in pressurized methane suits, 10 Laron with leaf shields and root anchors. All wore suits rated for Class 10 hazards. Ever tested Class 15 gear in real conditions, but the Concorde trusted its engineers. As Glory's Reach closed the distance, Passive scanners picked up more details. The warship had no running lights. Only faint emergency strips glowed along some corridors. Hull integrity, perfect. No battle damage visible beyond old micrometeor scars. Weapon batteries stayed cold, but charged. Energy conduits hummed with low power. Something kept the ship alive. The shuttle matched velocity and extended docking clamps. A side hatch on the giant vessel opened without signal. No challenge came, no weapons fired. The hatch simply waited like an open mouth. The boarding team crossed the umbilical bridge. One by one they entered the alien ship. Airlocks cycled with surprising speed. Atmosphere flooded the chamber. Oxygen 21%, nitrogen 78, trace gases normal for a Class 5 world. Gravity locked at 1.4 G. The suits registered no toxins, no radiation spike. Lethal. Team leader, Captain Selvor, a tall Vexari with deep purple facets, stepped forward first. He raised his scanner. It beeped softly. Atmosphere stable. Temperature 22 degrees Celsius. Humidity high but tolerable. This should kill most of us in minutes, yet the ship maintains comfort levels. They moved down the corridor. Lights flickered overhead. Emergency strips cast long shadows. The walls looked thick, forged from dark alloy that swallowed light. Footsteps echoed strangely. Every surface showed signs of use. Scratches from boots, handprints on panels, small dents from impacts. Corridors stretched wide enough for vehicles. They passed a junction. A sign in unknown script glowed above a doorway. The translator struggled, then spat out a rough meaning. Crew quarters. Mess hall, straight ahead. Selvor paused. Something moved ahead. A figure stepped into the light. Tall, upright bipedal. No suit, no armor, just rough fabric coveralls stained with dark grease. A human female. Held a tool that sparked with plasma. She chewed something in her mouth and looked at the team without fear. She raised one hand in casual greeting. Her voice came through the translator after a short delay. "Took you long enough. We have been waiting for someone to show up and try to claim salvage rights." The team froze. Scanners screamed impossible readings. Baseline carbon lifeform, oxygen breather, mammalian, no protective gear, survives Class-15 derived atmosphere, gravity, radiation, all of it. Selvor tried to speak, but his voice caught. He stared at the human. She smiled around her food bar, then turned and walked deeper into the ship. "Come on," she said. "The captain wants to meet you." Behind her, more lights came on. Corridors stretched farther. Voices echoed, laughter even. The warship no longer felt empty. It felt lived in, warm, busy, alive. The team followed slowly. Their suits felt heavy now. Their minds raced with questions. How could anything from a death world look so calm? How could it speak so easily? How could humanity, the young species barely 2 centuries in the stars, already hold something the galaxy feared most? The answer waited deeper inside, a truth the Concorde never expected, a truth that would change everything. A Class-15 Deathworld Warship was discovered, but humanity had secured it first. Captain Selvor led his team deeper into the massive ship. The human woman walked ahead with easy steps. She did not look back. Her boots made soft thuds on the metal floor. The corridors stayed wide and well lit now. Overhead panels glowed steady white. No more flickering emergency strips. The air smelled strange, heavy with moisture, and a faint sharp scent the translator called coffee. The team followed in tight formation. Their heavy suits clanked with each movement. The gravity pulled at their limbs. 1.4 standard felt crushing after their home worlds. The Vexari floated lower in their bubbles. The cliff hissed through methane filters. The Liran roots gripped the floor harder to stay balanced. They passed open doorways. Rooms showed life inside. One chamber held rows of green plants under bright lamps. Leaves moved gently under fans. Another room looked like a gym. Heavy bars and weights sat, racked along walls. Some weights looked impossibly dense, far beyond normal use. A few humans inside lifted them with grunts and laughs. They wore simple shirts and shorts. No suits, no breathing gear. Selvor whispered into his comlink. "This cannot be real. These beings treat lethal conditions like daily life." The human woman stopped at a wide door, marked with bold letters, "Bridge Access." She pressed a panel. The door slid open with a soft hiss. She stepped inside and waved the team forward. "Come meet the boss," she said. "He likes visitors." The bridge stretched huge. Wide windows showed the nebula outside, swirling purple and gold gas. Clouds parted just enough to reveal distant stars. Console stations lined the walls. Humans sat at them. Some typed fast. Others talked in low voices. All looked calm. No panic. No fear. At the center stood a tall man, arms crossed over a plain uniform jacket. His hair showed gray at the sides. Scars crossed one cheek. He watched the team enter without emotion. Surprise. His eyes stayed sharp and steady. "Welcome aboard the Indomitable Resolve," he said. "My name is Captain Elias Kane. You must be the Concord Survey Group. We picked up your approach 2 days ago." Selvor stepped forward. His crystal form shimmered under the bridge lights. "We are representatives of the Galactic Concord," he said. "This vessel registers as Class-15 Deathworld origin. We came to investigate and secure any artifacts of value. The law allows claim on abandoned relics." Kane raised one eyebrow. "Abandoned?" he repeated. The word hung in the air. He looked around the busy bridge, then back at Selvor. "This ship has never been abandoned, not for a single day since we launched her." The team shifted uneasily. Scanners beeped again. Life signs everywhere. All human, all stable, all thriving in conditions rated lethal. High Exarch Thrin joined the conversation through a hollow projection from the Harmony Veil. His image floated above the central console. "Concord demands full access to this vessel. We must confirm its status and origin. A Class-15 warship in unknown hands poses extreme danger." Kane smiled, small and thin. "Danger," he said. "You have no idea. The Resolve carries weapons tested against things your databases call impossible. She survived launch from a surface where your suits would melt in under 10 minutes. Selvor felt his lattice tighten. "How did your species board this vessel?" he asked. "How did you take control of a Deathworld craft?" The human woman who led them in laughed short and sharp. She leaned against a console. "My name is Lieutenant Mara Voss, by the way," she said. "We did not board her. We grew up with her type of tech. We built most of her ourselves." Kane nodded. He gestured to a side screen. A hologram appeared. A blue-green planet spun slowly. Clouds of ash and lightning covered most of the surface. Red lines marked volcanic chains. Yellow patches showed acid oceans. Gravity reading flashed 3.8. Standard atmosphere composition, deadly to 99% of known life. "This is Kane," he said. "Our home for 8 generations. The generation Ark Eternal Dawn crashed here centuries ago. No one expected survivors. The planet tried to kill us every day. Acid rain crushed gravity predators, neurotoxins, radiation storms. We lost count of the dead. But we learned. We adapted. We turned the poison into fuel, the predators into allies, the storms into power." The team stared at the hologram. A small blue dot marked an orbital station. Tiny ships moved around it. More dots appeared, shipyards, repair docks, construction frames. "We clawed our way off," Kane continued. "When we reached orbit, we found old wrecks from failed probes. We salvaged. We mined the crust for rare metals. We forged armor in volcanic forges. We tested weapons against megafauna that shrug off plasma. We built the first ships from Deathworld bones. Then we built bigger ones. This one, the Resolve, came next. We learned the hard way. Selvor spoke slowly. You claim this vessel belongs to humanity, that it never sat abandoned? Never, Kane said. We went quiet in the nebula for refit. Work on isotope scoops takes time. We harvest from dead stars. No signals out, no need. The Concorde found us by accident. Thrin's voice came sharp. You expect us to believe a young species mastered Class-15 technology in mere centuries? Impossible. No one survives such worlds long enough to build anything. Kane looked straight at the hollow projection. Young, maybe, but we do not break easy. When your worlds call something death, your people run. When ours call it home, we dig in deeper. We laugh at the things that scare you. We eat the food that poisons you. We breathe the air that chokes you. And when we build ships, we make them tough enough to carry all that with us. Mara Voss pushed off the console. She walked to a side panel and tapped it. A small door opened. Inside sat rows of sealed containers. Pulled one out and opened it. The smell of strong dark liquid filled the air. Coffee, she said. Want some? It grows in our hydro bays. Keeps us sharp. The team recoiled. No one moved to accept. Kane waved a hand. Enough show and tell. He turned to Selvor. Your people can stay as guests while we finish refit. But no claiming, no boarding parties without invite. This is Terran Dominion space now, whether you like it or not. Selvor felt the weight of the moment. The warship hummed around them, alive with human voices, human steps, human breath. The galaxy had always feared Class-15. Now the fear had a face, a scarred, calm face that smiled at danger like an old friend. Thrin's hollow flickered. He spoke low. We will confer. This changes many things. Kane nodded. Take your time, but remember one fact. We did not find this ship. We made her, and we have more coming. The galaxy just met its newest neighbor, and we do not play nice when someone tries to take our toys. Quiet, except for soft beeps and distant laughter from crew corridors. The humans went back to work, as if nothing happened. The Concorde team stood frozen, still in their heavy suits, still trying to understand how a death world could birth something so unafraid. Outside the windows, the nebula swirled on. Stars waited beyond, and somewhere deep in the dark, more human ships woke, hungry for the void. The bridge lights dimmed slightly as Captain Elias Kane turned to a larger side screen. He touched a control, and the hologram shifted from the planet Kane to a long timeline of dates and events. Pictures appeared grainy at first, then sharpened into clear images of crashing ships, burning cities, underground bunkers, and finally, orbital yards filled with growing hulls. Kane spoke in a low, steady voice. Let me show you what really happened. 800 years ago, the Generation Ark Eternal Dawn left Earth on a one-way trip to a new colony world. The FTL drive failed mid-jump. It spat them out near Kane. No charts matched the stars. No signals answered their calls. The ship fell burning through the atmosphere. Most of the crew died on impact. The survivors numbered fewer than 3,000. They landed in a caldera ringed by volcanoes. The first year stayed brutal. Acid rain ate through metal shelters. Gravity crushed weak bones. Predators bigger than shuttles hunted by sound and heat. Air carried toxins that burned lungs. Radiation twisted children born later. Many died young. But the ones who lived grew stronger. Their bodies changed over generations. Bones thickened, muscles adapted, lungs filtered poison better. Immune systems fought mutations. One image showed early humans in heavy crude armor fighting a massive beast with spears and fire. The beast had scales like armor and claws that cut stone. The humans won, but at great cost. Kane pointed to the picture. We learned fast. If we wanted to live, we had to use the planet, not fight it. We tamed some predators for riding and hauling, We bred plants that ate toxins and gave clean oxygen. We dug deep into rock to escape storms. We turned volcanic heat into power. Centuries passed. The people of Cain forgot gentle worlds. They knew only ash and thunder. They built cities inside cold lava tubes. They mined rare metals from the crust. They forged tools in magma pools. Their science grew twisted by need. Broke down sulfuric acid. They engineered suits from local hides and metals that resisted radiation. They laughed when children played in acid puddles, because the skin grew thick enough to shrug it off. By the 5th generation, they reached space again. Small rockets lifted from mountain peaks. They salvaged pieces from the wrecked Eternal Dawn. They found old fusion cores still warm. They repaired them with handmade parts. They launched probes that mapped the system. They built the first orbital station from scrap and mined ore. Cain paused the hologram on a view of that early station. Tiny figures in patched suits worked outside, welding plates. The station looked rough, uneven, but strong. We called her Hope 1, he said. She carried our dreams back to the stars. From there we built mining ships. We stripped asteroids for iron, nickel, platinum. We hauled it down to Cain for smelting. We learned to make alloys in pressures that mimic star cores. Our armor laughs at neutron radiation. Burn cleaner than anything the Concorde ever dreamed. The timeline moved forward. Decades turned to centuries. More stations appeared. Shipyards grew in orbit. Long skeletal frames held half-built vessels. Workers moved in zero-G with easy grace. They wore no fancy suits, just reinforced coveralls and helmets. Their tools stayed simple: hammers, welders, plasma cutters. But the ships they made looked impossible. Huge, sharp, deadly. Then the screen showed the indomitable resolve under construction. A massive skeleton took shape around a core of heavy reactors. Weapon mounts sprouted like thorns. Armor plates thicker than most dreadnought hulls locked into place. Thrusters tested in short bursts shook the yard. Workers cheered when the first full power run lit the dark like a new sun. We launched her 30 years ago, Cain said. She carried 10,000 souls at first. Families, scientists, engineers, soldiers. We took families because we knew long voyages. We took children because we wanted them to see stars, not just hear stories. The resolve became home. She patrolled our system. She hunted pirate probes that wandered too close. She tested weapons on Cain beasts launched into space for target practice. Nothing survived her fire. Mara Voss stepped forward. She had stayed quiet until now. Her voice came firm. We never lost her. Not to battle, not to breakdown, not to time. She went silent in the nebula because we needed rare isotopes from dead stars. The scoops take months to fill. We shut down most systems to save power. We stayed dark and quiet. That is why your scans showed low energy. That is why you thought her abandoned. Selvor stared at the images. His crystal body flickered with stress colors. You built all this on a Class-15 world, he said. The Concorde has records. No species survives there long enough to reach orbit. Yet you did more. You built a warship that dwarfs our largest dreadnoughts. Cain met his gaze. We did not survive. We thrived. The galaxy calls Cain death. Call it teacher. Every scar on our hulls came from lessons paid in blood. Every weapon system got tested against monsters that make your nightmares look tame. We do not fear the dark because we grew up in worse. Thryn Hollow Image grew larger. His voice rang sharp across the bridge. This cannot stand. A young species with such power threatens balance. The Concorde will not allow uncontrolled Class-15 technology in private hands. We demand you power down and prepare for inspection teams. Cain laughed once, short and cold. You demand, he repeated. Interesting word choice. You came here thinking you found a relic. You found a home. You found people who breathe poison like morning air. You found soldiers who train in 3G because one feels light. You want inspection? Fine. Send your teams, but know this. They will walk corridors where air would kill them in minutes. They will see gyms where we lift weights that crush your bones. They will eat food grown in toxin filters. Who play tag in radiation zones? He leaned forward slightly. And if any of your people try to take control, try to claim salvage, try to force us, they will learn why we call this ship Resolve, because when the galaxy says stop, we answer with fire. The bridge crew watched quietly. Some smiled small grins. Others checked weapons panels with calm hands. No fear showed. Only readiness. Cecil Vore felt the shift. The warship no longer seemed empty or mysterious. It pulsed with life, with purpose, with a quiet, terrifying strength, born from endless suffering, turned into victory. Outside the nebula, clouds moved slow. Stars watched silent, and on Kane, far below, new shipyards glowed under ash skies. More hulls took shape. More children laughed in poison wind. More humans prepared to carry their death world into the black. The Concorde team stood silent. Their suits felt heavier now, their minds filled with images of a species that refused to die, a species that turned hell into home. Brought that hell with them among the stars. A Class-15 Deathworld Warship was discovered, but humanity had secured it first. High Exarch Thrin ended the hololink without another word. His image vanished from the bridge. The silence stretched long. The Concorde team stood stiff in their heavy suits. They looked small now against the wide human bridge and the calm humans who worked around them. Captain Elias Kane waited with arms still crossed. He said nothing. His crew kept working as if nothing important happened. Minutes passed. Then alarms blared soft but urgent across the Harmony Vale comm channels. The fleet outside moved. New ships arrived fast. Concorde reinforcements, cruisers, destroyers, support vessels. They formed a tight ring around the indomitable Resolve. Weapon ports opened slowly. Lights glowed along barrels. Shields hummed into full power. Thrin voice returned over open channel. This is High Exarch Thrin speaking to the Terran vessel Indomitable Resolve. By Concorde Law, Article 17, Section 9, any Class-15 artifact falls under immediate quarantine and Concorde custody. You will power down all systems, open all hatches, and prepare for boarding. Our teams will secure the vessel for transport to neutral yards. You have 10 standard minutes to comply. Kane looked at the main screen. The Concorde fleet filled it. Red threat markers blinked around every ship. He turned to his weapons officer, a young man named Reyes. Reyes checked panels and nodded. All batteries hot, sir. Point defense online. Shields at maximum. Kane spoke into the comm channel, clear and calm. High Exarch, your law does not apply here. This is Terran Dominion registered space. The Resolve carries active fleet status. Your quarantine claim holds no weight. We will not power down, we will not open hatches, and if you send boarding teams, we will treat them as hostile. Thrin answered fast. You leave us no choice. The Concorde cannot risk uncontrolled Deathworld technology in the hands of an untested species. Prepare for forced entry. The line cut. Outside, the first Concorde boarding shuttles launched, small, sleek craft painted in silver and blue. They moved toward the Resolve auxiliary hatches, docking clamps extended, tractor beams locked on to hold position. Inside the Resolve, Mara Voss ran to a side console. She tapped fast. Orders went out. Crew members moved quick. Some headed to armories, others sealed bulkheads. A few laughed low as they checked rifles and grenades. Kane watched the shuttles approach. He spoke to the team still standing on his bridge. You should return to your shuttle now. This will get loud. Selvor shook his head. We stay. We must witness this. Kane shrugged. Suit yourselves, but stay out of the way. The first shuttle latched on. An umbilical bridge extended. Airlock cycled. A squad of Concorde troops stepped through. Power armor gleamed. Heavy rifles hummed with charge. They advanced down the corridor fast. Their leader, a Clythan methane-sealed plate, called out, "Concord security, stand down and surrender the vessel." They rounded a corner and met resistance. Not soldiers in armor, just humans in shipboard fatigues. Some carried pistols, others held tools, wrenches, pipes, plasma cutters. One woman leaned against the wall chewing gum. She smiled wide and said, "Welcome aboard, boys. Shoes off at the door." The Concord troops raised weapons. The woman moved first. She threw a small canister. It burst into thick white smoke. The corridor filled fast. The troops coughed even through filters. Then humans charged. They moved through the gas like it meant nothing. One man tackled a power-armored Clythe and drove a knee into the joint. Another used a wrench to smash a rifle barrel. A third laughed as he wrestled a Vexari to the ground and pinned its crystal arms. The fight lasted 7 minutes. The Concord squad retreated, dragging wounded. They sealed the airlock and blew the umbilical. The Resolve shook once from the blast, but held firm. 3 at once. They targeted different hatches. Teams poured in larger groups, better armed. Some carried sonic disruptors, meant to stun most species. The Resolve corridors answered with countermeasures. Hidden vents sprayed neuroinhibitors, tuned for non-human biology. The gas did nothing to humans. They breathed deep and kept coming. One boarding team reached a main junction. They set charges to blow a bulkhead. A human fire team appeared from side passages. They wore rebreathers, nothing more. They moved fast, silent, deadly. Shots rang out, precise, controlled. The Concord troops fell one by one. Their armor cracked under rounds designed for Kane predators. Rounds that punched through scales thick as plate. A Laron root soldier tried to anchor and spray acid from its glands. A human rolled under the spray, grabbed the extended root, and yanked hard. The Laron screamed as it tore free. The human finished it with a single shot. 17 minutes after the first breach, the last Concord team pulled back. They left bodies and broken gear behind. The Resolve corridors stayed clean. Humans mopped blood with casual speed. They patched holes. They reset traps. They joked about the poor aim of the invaders. On the bridge, Kane watched feeds from helmet cams. His face stayed calm. Reyes reported, "Sir, all boarders repelled. Minor damage to sections 4 and 9. Repair crews already on it. No casualties on our side." Kane nodded. "Good. Send a message to the fleet. We gave warning, they ignored it. Next time we answer with main batteries." Thrin's voice came again, strained. "This aggression will not be forgotten. The Concord will bring full force." Kane answered slow and clear. "Bring it. We have waited centuries for company. The galaxy fears Class-15. We live it. We breathe it. We built our home from it. If you want this ship, come take it. But know this. Every soldier you send will face people who grew up hunting monsters bigger than your ships. People who train in gravity that breaks your skin, bones. People who laugh when your weapons fire because they have felt worse." He paused for effect. "Your fear keeps you safe. Your caution keeps you weak. We do not have that luxury. We turned weakness into strength. We turned death into victory. And we will not give up what we earned." The channel stayed open. Thrin said nothing. The Concord fleet held position. Weapons hot but silent. The shuttles retreated. One by one they docked with their motherships. Selvor spoke quiet. "How can this be? Your species fights like predators, yet you speak of home and family." Mara Voss walked up beside him. She wiped grease from her hands. "We fight because we must," she said, "but we live because we choose to. Every day on Kane taught us that. The storms did not care. The beasts did not care. The poison did not care. So we stopped caring too. We stopped fearing. We started building. And now we bring that lesson out here." Kane looked at the nebula outside. Stars shone faint through the gas. He spoke soft, but firm. The Concord wants balance. They want control. They see us as a threat. We see them as slow. We see them as soft. Not enemies, just not ready. He turned to the team. You can go now. Tell your leaders what you saw. Tell them humanity holds its own. Tell them the death worlds are no longer empty. Tell them something new walks the stars, and it grins when the dark looks back. The Concord team moved slow toward the exit, their steps heavy, their minds full of images. Humans fighting in poison gas, humans laughing in battle, humans who treated a Class-15 warship like a comfortable house. Outside the fleet waited, and somewhere on Kane, new engines roared to life, new hulls gleamed under ash, new children watched the stars and dreamed of claiming them. The resolve stayed steady, weapons cold but ready. Humanity waited, calm, unbreakable, and the galaxy began to understand that some things born in hell refused to stay there. A Class-15 Deathworld Warship was discovered, but humanity had secured it first. The Concord fleet held position for a long hour after the failed boarding. No new shuttles launched, no weapons fired. The ships simply waited like animals that smelled something bigger in the dark. High Exarch Thrin appeared on the main screen again. His crystalline form looked dimmer now. Stress fractures showed faint across his facets. He spoke slow, carefully words. We have reviewed the situation. The Concord will not press further attack at this time. Captain Elias Kane stood with hands behind his back. He nodded once. Acknowledged. High Exarch, wise choice. Your people fought well. They just met something they were not ready for. Thrin paused long. The silence carried weight. We will withdraw under protest. We will report this encounter to the full assembly. The existence of a Deathworld species with active interstellar capability changes many treaties, many alliances. We ask only for one thing. Transmit your full historical records from Kane. We need to understand how this happened. Kane considered the request. He looked at Mara Voss. She gave a small shrug and nodded. He turned back to the screen. Agreed. We will send the data pack. Unencrypted. No secrets. We want the galaxy to know what we survived, what we built. We want you to remember. The data transfer began. Large files flowed across the open channel. Scans of Kane's surface cities, deep bunkers, orbital yards, family logs, medical records, weapon test footage. Everything honest, raw, unfiltered. The Concord fleet received it all, and stayed quiet. One by one the Concord ships turned. Their engines glowed soft blue. They pulled away slow at first, then faster. The Harmony Veil led the retreat. The rest followed in tight formation. Soon the nebula cloud swallowed them. The indomitable Resolve floated alone again, in the quiet dark. Kane exhaled long. He sat in the command chair for the first time since the alert sounded. Status report. All systems green, sir. Minor repairs complete. Power at full. The isotope scopes finished their cycle. We can jump whenever you give the word. Kane looked around the bridge. Crew members met his eyes. Some smiled. Others looked serious, but steady. He spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. We gave them a show. Now we go home. Tell engineering prep the drive. Tell navigation set course for Kane. We have families waiting. Cheers rose, short and sharp. Hands clapped shoulders. Laughter filled the air. The ship felt alive again, warm with purpose. Mara Voss walked to the viewport. She stared into the nebula. Stars peeked through gaps like distant campfires. She spoke quiet. We scared them good. They will talk about this for generations. Kane joined her. He stood shoulder to shoulder. They watched the clouds swirl. Yes, they will tell their children about the day they found a Class-15 warship and lost it to the monkeys who refused to die. Fresh from the academy. His name tag read Torres. He looked nervous but excited. Sir, permission to speak. Granted, Kane said. Torres swallowed. Should we have chased them? Showed them we mean business? Cain shook his head. No, we do not conquer. We expand. We carry Cain with us. Every weld, every plate, every laugh in the mess hall. We do not need to chase. We just keep going. The galaxy will either make room or learn the hard way. Torres nodded. He looked out at the stars. His eyes grew wide. I want to see Cain someday. See where it all started. Cain put a hand on the young man's shoulder. You will. When your tour ends, request transfer. You will walk the calderas, feel the gravity, taste the air. You will understand why we smile when things get bad. The ensign smiled small. Thank you, sir. Cain turned away. He walked to the central console. He touched a panel. The main screen showed Cain now. Live feed from orbital cameras. Cities glowed under ash clouds. Towers rose from lava fields. Ships moved in steady lines. New hulls took shape in the yards. Workers in heavy gear moved like ants, building bigger nests. He zoomed in on one yard. A fresh dreadnought frame grew fast. Cranes lifted plates. Armor gleamed black and thick. Weapon mounts waited, empty but ready. Another generation of Deathworld children would crew her. They would grow up knowing only stars and thunder, knowing only that the dark held no fear. Cain spoke soft. This is just the beginning. We left one hell. We found another out here. The void, the silence, the cold. But we bring our own storm. We bring our own fire. Mara Voss grinned beside him. Damn right. And the galaxy better get used to the heat. The Resolve engines hummed louder. The drive spooled up. Blue light spilled from the thrusters. The ship turned slow, majestic. Then it jumped. Space folded around her. The nebula vanished. Stars stretched into lines. And the indomitable Resolve carried her people home. Far below, on Cain's surface, a child stood on a high ridge. Wind whipped ash across her face. She looked up through breaks in the clouds. She saw a bright streak cross the sky. A ship returning home. She raised one small fist and shouted loud enough to cut the storm. The shout carried no fear, only pride, only hunger. For more worlds, for more dark, for more chances to prove that some things born screaming refuse to stay quiet. And somewhere in the deep black, other death worlds waited. Some empty, some hiding their own secrets, some ready to wake. Humanity moved toward them, calm, unbreakable, grinning, because the galaxy had just learned a simple truth. When you find something from hell, and it looks back at you smiling, know this: humanity got there first, and it already claimed the throne.